My Pedagogic Creed as a University of Richmond collegiate student. I believe education is the beginning of a very long adventure that continues throughout all our lives. I believe that education is the stepping stone for citizens to advance internally and externally in the world. I believe that every child should be given equal access to education, regardless of ethnic, social, or racial background. I believe that education should be formed and reformed continuously in a revolving cycle to adapt to the changing times. I believe that education is critical in succeeding in today's world. Therefore, I believe that an increase of focus from communities and our nation as a whole should be placed on it. I believe that the purpose of education is to allow heterogeneous individuals to reach their full potential, both individually and as a community. I believe that each student learns at a different pace, and therefore each teacher has the responsibility to notice and adhere to this. I believe that grades and tests are beneficial but only to a certain degree, and that in order to measure a student's success, other methods of assessment should be considered. I believe that a student's interests should be noticed and built upon by their teachers. I believe that each student has the ability to succeed with proper backing and confidence. I believe that failure should be encouraged instead of denounced, and that the school should allow for children to exercise their freedom to think on their own. I believe that curriculum should not be rigid, but rather flexible and adaptable to a student's curiosities and various questions. I believe that teachers must be compassionate, dedicated individuals. I believe that teachers should connect to their students, building a three-way relationship between them and parents to allow for accountability on everyone's part. I believe teachers have an obligation to engage individuals both in a group and individual setting. I believe that the teacher is responsible for developing a social conscience in students by adhering to morals. I believe teachers should have an understanding of their students' past in order to create and build a stable relationship for the future. I believe the school has a critical role in showing students what teamwork and dedication can accomplish. I believe that the school should not just be a building to the students, but rather a community. I believe that learning is a continuous process and that it should not be confined to the standard lecture-based approach. I believe that schools should function as preparation for students' lives after graduation, whether that means entering the workforce or continuing on to higher education. I believe that the community has an obligation to participate in and support the development of education. Essentially, I believe that education is the basis of knowledge for every human being. I believe that the student should be the center of the learning environment and that a student's interests and experiences should be a part of their learning adventures.